Well, they can always make gold illegal, but there's a big freaking caveat to making it illegal. Will it be unpopular? You know, it's unpopular when during good times. It's always unpopular during when times when everything's smooth. But when times are uncertain, gold goes up. And looking back through the looking glass in times past, that's been an axiom all the way through the centuries. Yeah, you can also argue that gold has been money for thousands of years since written history. But on top of it, when you look back through uncertain times now with the Greek crisis, Greek default, and other things coming up where they can't get money out of the ATMs and all that other type of stuff, hey, that's uncertain times. So looking back through the looking glass, hey, gold looks pretty damn good. So, you know, it always has that luster, though. It's always been divisible. It never goes away. It doesn't get consumed. It doesn't really react too much anything with pretty much most known chemicals. You can find it on the bottom of the ocean 10,000 years later. It's still there. It's pretty much all the gold we ever had. It's still here on the earth. It's just been recycled. But, you know, these are common things, you know, but during uncertain times, yeah, they could make it illegal. They could make it illegal. But, you know, the reason they made it illegal is because everybody now in the financial times, they really think that it's not something, they think of it's like an archaic relic. It's almost like collecting a 1966 Corvette. So some people want to collect 1966 Corvettes. Not everybody wants to. Most people don't own any gold. And actually, I think that puts you ahead of the pack if you do own some, because we are actually going into uncertain times, and time will tell exactly what's going to happen. But, you know, if we look at the axioms of the past, this Greek crisis is telling us, man, you know, people have been, you know, the doomsday sayers have been saying all along, hey, man, it's going to come full circle. It's coming full circle, you know. You can't print your way out of freaking an economic problem. It's only productivity, and if you print money and you give it to the non-productive people on the top in Wall Street, it doesn't do you much good, does it? It really has to get into the hands of the middle class that are very, very productive, but it never does, so the stimulus don't work. So anyway, and you also have to remember that expression, gold diggers. Remember the gold diggers? Gold diggers? Hey, they aren't fiat diggers. They're gold diggers, man. You know, I mean, you ever hear that expression? Of course you heard that expression, gold diggers. That's one thing I just want to drive home. They don't call them fiat diggers. They don't call them paper diggers. They don't call them note diggers. They don't call them U.S. Treasury note diggers. They call them gold diggers. So that's what you really want. You want something gold, and you want to be in something that's wearable. Did you ever see anybody wearing paper? Not likely. So anyway, the time is coming now. It's just a matter of waiting for, you know, the call to come in from the Fed where they're going to actually raise interest rates, or what they're going to do, because I don't think they're ever going to raise interest rates, man. I think that's a damn joke and a half. They're never, ever going to raise interest rates. There's going to be talk of raising interest rates. They're never going to. And actually, the markets have topped out. It's becoming obvious. You know, the markets now are down below where they started at in the beginning of the year. You know, if you're looking at the signs, all the signs, pretty much, it's just a matter of time before the sell-off starts. If there's enough of a sell-off, there's so many people that bought on margin within these markets, it's going to be a catalyst once the sell-off, a real serious sell-off starts. It's going to be a major catalyst that people are going to have to sell off more and more and more, because everybody bought on margin, and there's going to be margin calls left and right. So it's coming down to, I am very, very, very confident that actually the precious metals are going to be going up. And also, I'm going to say something. You know, I know you know about silver being related to gold, and it's the poor man's gold, and I think palladium's going to do good too. But you know, also our technology, as we're progressing away from piecemeal. It's like it's not going to happen overnight. But piecemeal, we're going towards more electric cars and things like that, where maybe they're going to hybrid cars. Hybrid cars take 30% more palladium. And on top of that, the thing is with copper too. Copper, they'll take much more. Hybrids will take far more copper than a regular car, and an electric car takes far more copper than a hybrid car. And as we go to alternative energy, and we have like solar panels, and we have all these different types of electric motors that we're using, more and more copper is going to be used. Actually, that's going to be another metal that's going to go up a lot too. I'm very confident in that. I think all the metals are going to go up because you really can't get around with not using these metals in alternative energy. Not just, maybe gold isn't so much used in that. Gold is going to be more for money purposes. But when we have a financial crisis, I'm immensely confident that gold is going to be the standard pillars that the financial system is going to rest upon, with the backstop that's going to keep things from freaking falling apart all the way. Gold is going to be the money that is going to be the fail-safe, safe haven money that if people own it, they're still going to retain their wealth. You've been hearing that a long time, but the Greek crisis is already showing it, because people are trying to get cash. They can't pump out enough cash out of those ATM machines quick enough. They can't. And once people realize that, even if they made gold illegal, it doesn't mean it's not going to be unpopular. It's going to be like, yeah, I'll take it. You know what I mean? And even if they do, it's, say for instance, if you shape it into a jewelry piece or something that has aesthetic value or other intrinsic value beyond what the inert metal is actually worth, innate, inert metal, whatever you want to call it, is actually worth. Guess what? Guess what? You just made something that cannot be illegal because it is now an art form. It is now a collector item. So in a way, they can never really make it illegal because it all depends, because jewelry is not going to be illegal. That's just how it is. As long as they want commerce to go, and if they don't have commerce to go, they got no way to freaking fund the government, and the powers that be got no freaking way to freaking survive. They always got to have that revenue stream coming in. So I'm immensely confident that gold is actually going to be starting doing very well. And along with silver and along with copper, and I mentioned why I said copper and palladium and even platinum, but actually copper and palladium, because they are very much used in all these new alternative energy technologies, and even the cars. The cars where they're going to hybrids are using more copper and palladium, and electric cars even use more copper and palladium than they do in hybrid vehicles. So as we move towards the new age, let me just tell you, the oldest things in the world are still coming right back in fashion. It's crazy, right? As we move to a modern society, it's like the same things that were hot back then are still hot today. Gold, baby. Gold. So we can see through the future into the looking glass, and I can tell you, the future is actually looking bright for gold. It really is. And when things settle down again, maybe it's probably going to go blasé and we don't really need it, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. It always goes full circle, because no matter how much they try to change things, it seems to be that, what was been proven and what worked for thousands of years has always become true today. It's almost as if I almost look at gold as like trying to, not have a wheel in a car. I mean, maybe someday if you have an air cushion, but you know what I mean. There's got to be something else, and even if they come up with technology with nanocarbon fibers and things like that to replace silver and copper, it's got decades away before they can actually bring the cost down for that. So in the meantime, count on your gold. And I could tell you one thing, I'm immensely confident that it's going to be going up. Mark Farber is going to wind up being a very rich man, although he already is a rich man. He's going to be an immensely far more rich man. He's going to probably be one of the richest guys on earth, because I've seen him talk so much over the past about, the CNBC, about, this and that. He's got this glum, confident air about him, like, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Because when it comes right down to it, the pillars of finance can always rest upon gold, and it will work. It will work. The electrons, backed by nothing money, creating money out of thin air, it can only work for so long as people have faith in it. But you know what people have faith in? Usually real, tangible items. So it goes full circle. They can make it illegal, but bottom line, it's not going to make it unpopular. And bottom line, even if they made it illegal, it could still be reshaped into something that's jewelry, and we could still wear it, and therefore it's not golden coin. And guess what? Then it is legal to have, it's legal to trade, it's legal to use and trade, and it'll retain its worth. So there's always a way around a situation, and it just comes right back to full circle all the way, man. I'm amazed how I don't know how they freaking the planners that be, or whatever the hell they are, that are pushing this funny money financial system. I really don't know how they're going to freaking get their way out of this deal, because I can tell you one thing. I think that there is going to be some major financial calamities in the markets. This Greek debt crisis is just the beginning. It's going to spread, and there's problems in China. It's all over the world, because we're not going by the oldest principles in the world. And the thing is, the girls love Broadway now. Gold is what gets her by, not fake promises and loans and promises of the future. It's the gold that they have now, and they're smart enough to take the gold.